Hey, welcome. So we're going to do another 20 minutes, and I did get on 2 minutes early again so people can get on and make sure everything's working, and it's working great. This has just been working so well. So as people are getting on right now, I wanted to just review some of the things we've talked about this whole week. In our first session, we talked about speaking the truth, well, actually right speech, which had three components: truth and kindness. Number two, purpose and meaning. Make sure you speak with purpose and meaning. And then number three, make sure it's timely. Don't be telling people the truth that has purpose while they're crying or they're upset or they're screaming or they're yelling or they're depressed or they're sick, whatever it is, they can't hear you. And then we get frustrated. You weren't listening. But we didn't tell them at a time that they were listening. I do a lot of private coaching, and I work with a beautiful family, and it's really cute because the teenage girl that I work with, she's like, one thing that I have to do is remind my mom not to tell me things first thing in the morning because I don't remember it. My brain's not awake. So that's what I mean. Just speak timely, in a timeless way, not a timelessly, in the right timing. The other thing we talked about was humor. Hi, Nancy. I'm glad you're here. And make sure that you have a sense of humor during this. I'm not saying that we're all in denial, but we need to release endorphins and dopamine inside ourselves to make us actually stronger and healthier and have a better immune system. So use the power of humor. Watch good shows, read funny books. We talked about, I said I love Calvin and Hobbes, use Calvin and Hobbes. So these were just some of the tips that we said. Now today we're going to get back into talking about mindful eating. But before we do that, I want to talk about the power of the smile. This is my t-shirt today. Keep smiling. So I know sometimes we don't feel like smiling. California just went on a total lockdown, and when I heard that, and I knew it was coming, I wasn't surprised. It's the right thing. But I didn't want to smile. I was like, oh. It kind of just made it even more real. I know it's all real. And then I had to remember, getting upset about what is happening that I have no control of doesn't change what's happening. So we have to go into that stop that we were talking about. Remember snack? Stop. I stopped. I noticed I was upset by this, right? And then I had to accept it. It is what it is. I'm not going to change it, and I do understand why it's the right choice. So I had to go into accept it, and then go into curious. How can I take this information that California is on this lockdown and treat myself with kindness? And that's why I said we need to smile. The act of smiling also releases a dopamine and endorphins in ourselves. It actually will physiologically change you. And when you're smiling, when I'm smiling at you all, I feel better. And then when you see someone smiling, they feel better. So if you want to help your stressed out household, then what you need to do is take that frown and turn it right side up into a smile. And that is a way of bringing some positive energy. I can't be responsible how other people feel, but I can be responsible on how I'm presenting myself to other people. So at least I'm not putting gasoline on the fire of depression or sadness or feeling trapped. When they're looking at me, when my husband's looking at me, he's upset about it too. He's not looking at this grumpy wife over here that's all upset, crying and upset, and he doesn't have control. And when he doesn't have control, then he gets upset. Does anyone have husbands like that? When they don't have control, they get upset. So if I allow myself to present the best way, and I'm not saying with denial, but I'm at least saying being optimistic, or at least saying I'm going to present myself with a smile and release those energies, then at least I'm being part of the solution and not part of the problem. Okay, this is the book of today that I'm sharing you. This is by Rick Hansen. He is like I would say almost my #1 favorite author and scientist. I got lots of them, but he's my favorite. And he's written tons of great books. So this one's called Just One Thing, Developing the Buddha Brain, One Simple Practice at a Time. I'm going to show it close so you guys can see it. It has inside of it, once again, short little pages that tells you how to train your mind. And that's what we've been doing all week, is having and practicing and training our mind so we're not stuck in that negative thinking, in that caveman thinking yesterday where we were hoarding the toilet paper. And like I heard my husband, we talked about out eating the candy bars, and then all of a sudden I started to go and have a reaction like, what are you doing? You're eating the candy bars. We don't want to live in fear and stress and worry and lack and anxiety. Let that all go. Let it all go. And so this book gives you a whole bunch of tips on how to take your brain from that lower level up to the higher level, and they're very short. I highly recommend it. Number 19, look at it. What does it say? Smile. Are you guys smiling back at me? How about you, Kevin and Susan? You got a smile on your face? And he goes in and explains that just what I told you, you are actually changing the chemicals in your brain to be positive and more healthy, and that you're actually building a better relationship with other people when they're seeing you. You're having a better connection. And he goes on, and he's telling you that when you're able to take the world with a smile and calm yourself down, then you have more flexibility in your choices that you're going to make. This is a storm. I got it. But it doesn't mean that we have to sit in the corner and really pout about it or get upset about it and so forth. We need to have creativity, calm, clear creativity, and come up here. So how can we do it? By reading terrific books every morning, taking our 3 breaths that we've been talking about, using snack that we've talked about, using laughter. These are all tools and techniques that are in the power of you in your house right now. We got this. Come on, guys. We got this. At least we got ourselves. Let's work on it and create that safety, and then be the light for other people and bring out compassion and empathy. Everyone is not happy about this. I got it, but we can come together and care for each other, and it feels so good. Let's take this and let's water the garden and let's grow some flowers, right? Let's do it while we're smiling. And if you frown a little bit, like I heard when California locked down, that's okay. Give yourself permission to be upset for a while, and then know you can shift. You still can allow yourself to shift later. All right, let's talk about mindful eating in the house. You know what I want to do? Eat popcorn, and lots of it. So we have to really think about how we're going to handle these next couple of weeks while we're really stuck in the house and not able to do the many exercises we do, or just running around town as we do, or going to the park with the kids, or all these different things. So we have to figure out, what are we going to do? And we have to understand what is our eating behaviors already. We need to face our eating behaviors already. So know that you have programs in your mind on how you have a relationship with food. Everybody has them, and everyone has different ones. Most of them were formed when you were little, when you were young. And a good example is this. In my husband, we would have Oreo cookies in the house. When we got married, I bought Oreo cookies, and in the morning they'd be gone. And I would be like, who ate the Oreo cookies? And he would always say, Nelson, our son, did. But he was in college, so I know that he wasn't eating the Oreo cookies. I'm like, what's going on, honey? You can eat these Oreo cookies anytime you want. Why are you eating them all in the middle of the night? And he thought about it for a while, and he said, well, when I was young, my mom would go out and buy a whole bunch of food and bring it in one time a week. And she would buy cookies and whatever it was. And he had 2 brothers, an older brother and a younger brother. And as soon as it came in, he knew if he didn't eat what he wanted on the first day, he wouldn't get it because the other brothers would. So he programs when something comes in that's good, he doesn't even really realize it, but unconsciously he goes and he starts eating it right away like it's going to disappear. This is a programming that happened to him when he was 5. We all have these programs. You know, if you grew up in a household that had scarcity of food, then you tend to want to eat it when you see it right away. If you had a family that was really controlling and limiting in food, then you felt like you didn't have control of food, then once again, you usually want to eat it right away and have control of your own food. Think where your programming is. If you see a whole bunch of food in front of you, like when I went to my grandmom's house, you were meant to eat everything on your plate, and if you didn't, you were insulting her. So I'd get this big plate and I'd eat the whole thing. I had to, out of respect. Those programs are still inside of us. You want to think, what is the programs inside of us? Because right now a lot of us have, I hope, a lot of food that can enough food to fill the refrigerator, freezer with our staycations we're having right now. But we can't eat it all right now, all at one time. Remember yesterday I said we have to decide, are we going to end up gaining weight or end up becoming healthier in this situation? This is a choice. It is a choice. We have to realize, what are we facing? So also, how do you handle food when you're stressed? When people get stressed, first of all, the body gets tired. And when the body gets tired, it wants carbohydrates. And wanting carbohydrates means that it starts craving things just like popcorn. So that's natural. Then the other thing is that when you eat something that tastes good, usually carbohydrates, salts, oils, things like that are good and taste good to you, you feel like you're rewarding yourself. You're like, I had such a hard day. It was such a hard day. I'm going to go home and I'm going to have a glass of wine and then I'm going to eat those cookies because I deserve it. So you're using it as a reward system for yourself because you got through the day. Now, the problem is we're now home and we're in this kind of chronic stress. Unless we don't take care of our stress, we're in this chronic stress. And every day, even though we're not doing much, feels like a hard day because the news is so difficult to listen to. And we're concerned about our families and our friends and our kids. So everything kind of feels like a hard day. So that means that that reward system triggers in for snacking. Comfort food is permanently being pushed on. We've got to be careful about this. If we start thinking to ourselves, I made it through today, one more day in my house in quarantine, I deserve to eat as a reward system, we're all going to be really, really heavy and also very unhealthy. And part of the responsibility we have right now is to not go into the hospital and not need to go to the doctors and so forth. It's about being healthy. That is what we can give to the world, is keeping ourselves healthy and keeping our household healthy. So we have to understand that eating comfort food is not going to serve us in any way. So how do you handle that one, Lindsay? Well, I actually have taught mindful eating, and I taught it to the military, some veterans and some people that were in the military, and I talked about how we have to have portion control, meaning conscious thinking. Mindful eating is being in the present moment, being aware that you want something without judgment, and then making a great choice on what to do next. So I want popcorn. And this lady that I was working with in the military, she said, we always ate popcorn all the time. We open the bag and sit down and eat it with our TV. But now we have to remember, I want to say, we're watching a lot more TV, or we're watching a lot more on our internet or videos like the one I'm making now. And so we just eat unmindfully, which means unaware of what we're eating. And we'll end up eating the whole bag. And we can't do that. So get a bowl. I know this sounds silly and it sounds so obvious, but isn't learning how to handle how you eat that simple? Pour it in the bowl, leave this in the kitchen. You can have popcorn, guys. You can have cookies, you can have whatever you want, but as long as you're consciously aware of what you're eating and you're limiting yourself, and if you want another bowl, you go into the kitchen again. Mindful eating is not saying that you don't eat. It means that you're just not eating on automatic pilot, and that you're consciously choosing what you're going to eat. So I told myself I can have a bowl of popcorn every night. I'm going to have it at night, not during the day, and that'll work. When you tell yourself you're on restriction, I want you guys to really get this. When you tell yourself you can't have that, or that is bad, something like that, when you get in like, I'm never going to have that ever, ever, ever again, what happens is that when you think about it, you activate that fight, flight, stressful reaction. And you end up having a really negative emotion attached to it. We're not trying to beat ourselves up. We're not trying to train ourselves to be more negative. We're trying to train. We're not trying. We're practicing. I like the word practice. Don't try. Practice eating healthy, eating in portions, eating mindfully. Just practice. Give yourself permission to practice. I'm very proud to say that my husband has quit smoking. Yay. And I asked him, how did he do it? He did it mindfully. He didn't beat himself up. He said when he felt like having a cigarette, he pretended he was breathing in and breathing out. And then he said, does he feel like how his lungs feel? He says, yes, he does. He said he's so proud of himself that he was able to breathe well. He reinforced in a positive way, not smoking, instead of in a negative way. We want to do that with our food too. If you really want that cookie or you really want that bowl of ice cream, tell yourself you can have it, but you're going to have it at a particular time that's important to you. You're going to have a particular amount, and then pat yourself on the back. Reinforce yourself positively. Don't beat yourself up. It's just so important that we do it like that. The other thing about mindful eating is pulling yourself in awareness. How can you do that with your kids? Eat with chopsticks one night. Remember, on day 2 of this series of 5 that I've done, these videos, I told you, have fun. How about having breakfast for dinner, eating with chopsticks, giving everyone a spoon instead of a fork to eat with? It pulls everyone right in the awareness. Really focus in on what they're eating, and it brings humor and it brings a smile. These are the things we're going to have to do while we're home. We do not want to eat out of boredom. We want to be aware what we're eating and actually enjoy what we're eating. And that's also how we can use mindful eating as a meditation. So I made this up. Maybe someone else has it out there. Sip, sip. This is a mindful meditation. When we're about to eat, stop and notice. Stop and investigate what you're about to drink or what you're about to eat, and then proceed. It doesn't say don't do it. It says stop and be really aware, investigate it, smell it, touch it, taste it. Really enjoy. What are the colors that you're eating? Be really involved. Pull yourself into the present moment with your food. One present moment at a time. And then proceed. Enjoy it. You can do that with your coffee every morning or with your tea. Stop. Take your breaths. Really smell it. Really enjoy it. Don't guzzle it. Enjoy it. And then proceed. Do it with water. If you're very upset and you need to calm yourself down, don't reach for a glass of wine. Go get a nice glass of water. Stop. Really appreciate it. Appreciate that we have water or coffee, or that we can sit in this nice chair, that we can relax in this moment, and then taste the water. Really enjoy it. Pull yourself in the present moment and be so thankful with gratitude that we're able to have this water, or this coffee, or this tea, or this food, and then proceed. Now, on my centered moment, I have 2 websites. One is this one, centeredmoment.com, and if you go there, I have lots of meditations, and I have a raisin meditation, and where you get one little raisin, and you hold it, and it takes you through a 5-minute wonderful meditation of really stopping and smelling it and tasting it and proceeding with it. And it's called mindful eating. It is a form of mindful meditation. It's wonderful. At Centered Moment, I have a breath meditations, I have body scan meditations, loving kindness meditations. They're all free, they're all short, they're all wonderful. So go there and do that. The other thing I want to tell you guys about is Stress Shifter. Stress Shifter is my other website I speak a lot about. It has tons of information about how to handle stress. The March newsletter, so if you go, a pop-up will come in. You can sign up for the March newsletter, and I have a lot of articles about mindful eating. So it's very good. It also has a quiz, a free profile quiz on how you handle stress. Take it. It'll give you a lot of good information. And then, of course, we have our online course that really teaches you. It's a 4-module online course with videos that are all about 10 minutes long, so you can do it. It's all self-paced. Go there at the top at Stress Shifter. You can learn more about it. I've really enjoyed so much doing these talks and being part of this community. I like to say we're a sangha. We're a group of people who want to be able to make the best of this situation, to be compassionate and kind. So next week, I'm thinking about doing this for 20 minutes, starting at 11 o'clock on Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays. So I want to know how many people really think that this is a good idea. Is this helpful? If every time I talk about a book and a quote and something that is good, and then we go into a tool and a technique like mindful eating or snack or, right speech. I have lots and stuff. I've been teaching mindfulness and so forth for a very long time, and I can do it 3 times a week. But please give me some feedback. Please share my videos. Please write, yes, Lindsay, this is what we would like to do. I'll show up and watch them, because I want to make sure that we're doing this together. This isn't about me. This is about us, and knowing that we're all human beings and we're all in this, no matter where we are, Italy and Spain and Europe and in India and Africa, South America, Mexico, Canada. We're human beings going through something we've never gone through together, and we will be stronger if we do it together. But I want to make sure that this is actually a tool and a technique that does work. Please know that I do coaching, and now I've switched my coaching onto being Zoom, so I can coach anyone, anywhere. And if you would like an introductory offer, just message me or email me, contact me, and I'll get in touch with you, and we can set up a chat to see if that my mindful coaching will work for you. I work really well with anyone in any age. My background is I ran a school, and I was a high school teacher for 23 years. So, but now I teach mindful aging, and I work with people all the way up to 92. 92 was my oldest person. She is a whippersnapper. I love her. Anyway, I will see you hopefully next Monday. Check in at Stress Shifter. And thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend. Keep shifting and keep smiling.